The luxury penthouse suite overlooking Miami Beach fell into stunned silence as Alexis Texas walked into Cherie DeVille's private birthday party, carrying a manila envelope that would change everything. The party, attended by industry executives, mainstream celebrities, and high-profile investors, had been Cherie's moment to celebrate her successful transition from adult entertainment to legitimate business empire. But as Alexis approached the stage, where Cherie was giving her thank-you speech, everyone could see the cold determination in her eyes. This wasn't a social visit. This was payback. "Cherie," Alexis announced, her Texas accent cutting through the room like a blade. "Before you celebrate your success, I think your guests should know exactly how you built this empire, especially the investors who think they're backing an honest businesswoman." The statement sent shockwaves through the elegant crowd. Miami's elite party guests froze with champagne glasses halfway to their lips, while industry insiders immediately recognized the tension crackling between the two women. Never before had anyone dared to confront Cherie DeVille so publicly, especially not at her own celebration. But what happened next would become legendary in entertainment circles, as Alexis Texas unleashed 6 months of carefully planned revenge that would expose secrets so devastating they would destroy Cherie's reputation forever. Before we dive into this explosive revenge story, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more shocking tales of betrayal, payback, and the dark side of Hollywood glamour. The roots of this brutal conflict stretched back 18 months, to when both women were competing for the same lucrative business opportunity that would define their post-entertainment careers. Miami businessman Ricardo Castellanos had been seeking a partner for his expanding chain of upscale wellness centers, offering a $2 million investment deal plus equity stakes that could be worth tens of millions. Alexis Texas had spent months developing the perfect business proposal. Born in the small town of Castroville, Texas, she had always been underestimated because of her blonde bombshell image and southern accent. But behind the persona was a sharp business mind that had turned her entertainment career into a multimillion-dollar brand. Her wellness center proposal combined fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle coaching in a way that could revolutionize the industry. The deal was virtually guaranteed. Alexis had built a relationship with Castellanos over 6 months. Her business plan was flawless, and she had lined up celebrity endorsements and media partnerships that would ensure success. All that remained was the final presentation and contract signing. That's when Cherie DeVille made her move. Cherie, whose real name was Carolyn Paparazzi, had built her reputation on being the sophisticated, intelligent performer who could transition seamlessly into mainstream business. With her MILF-next-door appeal and East Coast polish, she projected an image of refined professionalism that contrasted sharply with Alexis's more obvious sexuality. But underneath the polished exterior, Cherie was ruthlessly ambitious and willing to use any means necessary to achieve her goals. 3 days before Alexis's scheduled final presentation, Castellanos suddenly canceled their meeting. When Alexis demanded an explanation, she discovered that Cherie had approached the businessman with devastating information designed to destroy Alexis's credibility and steal the deal for herself. Cherie had convinced Castellanos that Alexis was involved in money laundering schemes, had connections to organized crime through her Texas business associates, and was planning to use the wellness centers as fronts for illegal activities. She provided fabricated financial documents, fake law enforcement reports, and staged photos that made her allegations appear credible. Within 48 hours, Castellanos had not only canceled his deal with Alexis, but had signed an exclusive partnership agreement with Cherie, who conveniently had a backup business proposal ready to present. Alexis lost everything: the $2 million investment, the equity stakes, the celebrity partnerships, and her reputation in Miami's business community. Worse, rumors about her alleged criminal connections spread through industry networks, making it nearly impossible for her to secure other legitimate business opportunities. But Cherie had made a fatal mistake. She had underestimated exactly how dangerous it was to cross a Texas woman who had clawed her way up from poverty and wasn't about to let anyone destroy her dreams. For 6 months, Alexis had been planning her revenge, and tonight, at Cherie's moment of greatest triumph, she was ready to unleash it. "Ladies and gentlemen," Alexis announced to the shock party guests, "I have some documents that I think you'll find very interesting about your host's business practices." She opened the manila envelope and pulled out a thick stack of papers. These are bank records showing that Cherie DeVille has been systematically stealing money from the wellness centers she claims to have built so successfully. The party guests gasped as Alexis began displaying financial documents on her phone screen, projected onto the venue's large TV monitors. Over the past year, Cherie has diverted $1.7 million from customer payments into personal accounts in the Cayman Islands. She's been operating a Ponzi scheme, using new investor money to pay existing obligations while funneling profits offshore. Cherie's face went white as the documents appeared on screen. These weren't the fake papers she had used to destroy Alexis. These were real financial records that exposed her actual criminal activities. "How did you get those?" Cherie demanded, her sophisticated facade cracking to reveal panic underneath. Alexis smiled coldly. "Honey, you forgot that I'm from Texas. We know how to investigate, and we know how to wait for the right moment to strike. I've been tracking your financial activities for 6 months, working with forensic accountants and federal investigators." The revenge was just beginning. "But that's not all," Alexis continued, her voice gaining strength as she realized how completely she had trapped her enemy. "I also have evidence that Cherie has been blackmailing several of her business partners and investors." She pulled out a recording device. This is a conversation where Cherie threatens to release compromising photos of investor Michael Henderson unless he agrees to additional funding terms that violate SEC regulations. The audio began playing through the venue's sound system, filling the room with Cherie's voice clearly engaging in extortion. The party guests, many of whom were Henderson's business associates, listened in horror as Cherie's true character was exposed. "Stop this immediately," Cherie demanded, rushing toward Alexis. "This is private information obtained illegally." But Alexis was ready for that objection too. "Actually, Cherie, everything I'm presenting was obtained through completely legal investigations conducted by licensed private investigators and forensic accountants. Unlike the fabricated evidence you used to steal my business deal." She held up another document. "This is a confession from the person you paid to create fake law enforcement reports about me. He's agreed to testify that you hired him to fabricate criminal allegations designed to destroy my reputation and steal Ricardo Castellanos' investment deal." The room erupted in whispered conversations as guests realized they were witnessing not just personal revenge, but the exposure of serious criminal activity. Ricardo Castellanos himself was among the party guests, and his face showed a mixture of rage and horror as he realized how completely Cherie had manipulated him. "Are you telling me that everything Cherie told me about Alexis was fabricated?" "Every single word," Alexis confirmed. "Cherie created an elaborate fraud to steal my business opportunity and destroy my reputation. But what she didn't realize is that her own business operations were built on actual criminal activities that could be exposed and prosecuted." The revenge was systematic and devastating. Alexis had spent months building an airtight case that would not only clear her own name, but completely destroy Cherie's business empire and reputation. "The really beautiful part," Alexis continued, "is that while Cherie was busy fabricating crimes to pin on me, she was actually committing real crimes that have left a paper trail investigators can follow." She pulled out her final piece of evidence. "These are federal tax documents showing that Cherie has been operating her wellness centers without proper licensing, avoiding health department inspections, and providing medical advice without appropriate qualifications. She's violated dozens of state and federal regulations." Cherie made one last desperate attempt to regain control of the situation. "Alexis is obviously obsessed with me and has fabricated this entire story because she couldn't handle losing a business deal legitimately." But Alexis had anticipated this defense and was ready with the perfect response. "Cherie, I've brought some special guests who can verify everything I've presented." 2 men in suits stepped forward from the crowd. "I'm Agent Martinez with the FBI Financial Crimes Division," the first announced. "We've been investigating Ms. DeVille's business operations for the past 3 months based on information provided by Ms. Texas." The second man identified himself as an IRS criminal investigation agent. "We have warrants for Ms. DeVille's arrest on charges of tax evasion, money laundering, and securities fraud. The party guests watched in stunned silence as Cherie DeVille, who had been celebrating her business success just minutes earlier, was placed under arrest at her own birthday party. But Alexis wasn't finished. As Cherie was being led away in handcuffs, she delivered her final blow. "Oh, and Cherie, the wellness center deal you stole from me? Ricardo is canceling your contract and transferring the partnership to me, effective immediately." She turned to address the shocked party guests. Sometimes justice takes time, but it always comes. And when someone tries to destroy an honest person's dreams through lies and fraud, they'd better make sure their own house is clean. The aftermath of what entertainment media quickly dubbed the Miami Revenge Party spread through industry circles with unprecedented speed. Within hours, video clips of Cherie's arrest were circulating on social media, while news outlets picked up the story of how Alexis had orchestrated one of the most elaborate and successful revenge schemes in recent memory. TMZ published a detailed timeline showing how Alexis had spent 6 months methodically investigating Cherie's business operations while building a criminal case with federal authorities. The article described it as a masterclass in patience and strategic planning that turned victimization into total victory. Entertainment Weekly featured the story as their cover article, titled "Texas Justice: How Alexis Texas Destroyed Her Enemy's Empire." The piece detailed how Alexis had transformed from victim to victor through careful investigation and strategic timing. More importantly, the revelation of Cherie's criminal activities triggered investigations into her other business ventures and associates. Several investors filed lawsuits to recover stolen funds, while regulatory agencies began examining her wellness centers for safety violations and fraudulent practices. Within 3 months, Alexis had not only cleared her reputation, but had become one of Miami's most respected businesswomen. Her partnership with Ricardo Castellanos flourished, generating the millions in revenue she had originally projected. Her story of turning victimization into victory made her a sought-after speaker for business conferences and women's empowerment events. Cherie, meanwhile, faced federal prosecution on multiple charges that could result in decades in prison. Her business empire collapsed as investigations revealed the full extent of her fraudulent activities, and her reputation was so thoroughly destroyed that she became a cautionary tale about the consequences of using criminal methods to achieve business success. The revenge had been total, systematic, and absolutely devastating. 6 months later, Alexis reflected on her experience during a podcast interview. "People underestimate Southern women, especially blonde ones from small Texas towns. They think we're all hair and no brains. But when someone tries to destroy our dreams through lies and fraud, they learn real quick that we know how to fight back." She continued, "The key to effective revenge isn't acting in anger. It's being patient, doing your homework, and making sure that when you strike back, it's with truth and evidence that can't be disputed." Cherie thought she was smart, but criminals always leave trails that honest investigators can follow. The story became legendary in entertainment and business circles as an example of how victims of fraud and sabotage could fight back effectively through legal means. Alexis had proven that sometimes the best revenge was simply exposing the truth about your enemy's actual criminal behavior. Most importantly, she had demonstrated that underestimating a determined Texas woman was a mistake that could cost everything. Her revenge had been perfect because it was built on truth, executed with precision, and delivered with the kind of Southern justice that left no room for mercy. Thank you for watching this incredible story of revenge, justice, and the power of patient investigation. If you found this tale of ultimate payback inspiring, please hit the like button and subscribe for more shocking stories of how victims became victors and truth triumphed over fraud.